There's a lot of about it in the shape, or was it like, oh, you know, I think there's somebody. This kind of.
Welcome, everyone. We will get started in a few minutes. Bienvenidos a todos. Vamos a empezar en unos minutos.
Point of clarification, what does PTC stand for? I didn't see that in your.
Oh, the
That's it.
transformative climate committee? It will be like the transformative climate. We should say TCC too. There's so many acronyms, but you're right, you shouldn't say it out loud.
I'm not sure I missed that.
No, it's okay, the transformative climate community.
With their.
Or in fact, for the late fact, because I had already deleted the other ones. Because I thought I put in my calendar, so sometimes.
Oh, no, of course, I know that. Leadership panel, they've been great about sending out the reminders, because sometimes I think they'll start at 6:30. But then
Hello.
they remind them like, no, please.
Especially with it. Change to that. Or actually, oh, yes, I can do it.
Hello, excuse me, this is Jesus Villaseñor, I'm your interpreter. Is Crystal there with you guys?
Me. Hi, Jesus.
Hi, how are you? Oh, there you are. Sorry, didn't see you in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, are you going to activate the interpretation feature?
Is it not yet? Let me do that.
No, it's not. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's have interpretation. Jesus.
And
English to
Brittany.
Yes. I typically believe if one of you can stay to give the instructions on how to move over to the Spanish channel, that would be fantastic. Is there a preference?
Sure. No, if you want, I can do it. Brittany, you there? Can you hear me? Is that okay with you?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Do you want me to
Okay,
start and
so-
give the instructions, or do you want me to give the instructions and we start?
Do you have the script with you?
No, I know it by memory.
Oh, okay. So do you mind?
No, I
Yeah.
don't mind.
Then what
Not at all.
What I'll do
Perfect.
then, Jesus, I'll move you over first, and then and then Brittany, I'll keep you on, and then transition you over once we give the instructions.
Sounds perfect.
Okay. Jesus, you should be able to move now. Oh, I can't hear you. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get these things happening. We can't hear you, Jesus.
We still can't hear anything.
Are you in the English channel? He is in the English channel. You have to choose the English channel for your team to be able to hear him.
Well, he should be in the Spanish channel. How do I move him over to that?
He can switch over. Jesus, do you want to move over to the Spanish for a quick sound check?
Crystal, you want me to help you? I think we're okay. He's giving a thumbs up.
I can hear you, Jesus. I'm on the Spanish channel and I can hear you. Let me ask. Are you all able to hear him on the channel?
Very faintly.
They haven't told me that, I think.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you in the background.
Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna share screen. Let me know if you all can see the bienvenidos screen. Yes?
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay,
We're starting.
yep. we
Would you like for
can
me to give the instructions real quick or?
We'll call the order at
Oh,
our meeting at 6:06. And before we start, let's give the instructions in English and Spanish for those who need translating assistance. So go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's meeting with Mecca North Shore Climate. My name is Brittany. I will be one of your Spanish interpreters along with my colleague, Mr. Jesus Villaseñor. Both of us, it's a pleasure to be here with you all to serve you as your Spanish interpreters. For those that only speak English or prefer to hear the meeting in English, in case someone in Spanish decides to volunteer or would like to share, please go ahead and locate the three dots where it says more, or you may find a globe icon at the bottom of the screen. Please go ahead and click on it. You will look for language interpretation. Please go ahead and click on it and you'll see English. And please hit mute original audio to avoid hearing multiple voices. And then you will hit done. I will now repeat the instructions in Spanish. Muy buenas tardes todos. Es un gran placer de estar aquí con ustedes. Mi nombre es Brittany, juntamente con mi compañero Jesús. Nosotros estamos encantados de ser sus intérpretes hoy en la tarde. Le invitamos, por favor, que seleccione su canal de interpretación y la manera como hacerlo, dependiendo qué aparato tengan. Por favor, ubique los tres puntitos que diga more o más, o tal vez va a haber un icono terráqueo, debajo de la pantalla. Por favor, seleccione el icono o la opción a donde dice more o más y seleccione language interpretation. Va a seleccionar Spanish o español y después va a poner mute original audio y después va a poner done o finalizar. De igual manera, voy a poner las instrucciones en la cajita de diálogo para que ustedes puedan hacerle referencia en caso de cualquier cosa. Y por favor, cualquier problema técnica, déjenos saber y con gusto le podremos asistir. Muchas gracias y disfruten. I will now turn it back to you. Thank you so much.
thank you. I will stop sharing just to move you over to the Spanish channel really quickly, and then I will resume.
Thank you.
Mhm. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's see it comes up from 15. Oh. Or I got ahead of myself. I will turn it back over to you, Malu.
Okay, we'll start with the roll call. So you wanna turn it back to you or you want to do
Okay.
the roll call?
No, I can do this.
Oh,
Okay, sorry. Anjanette Aguilar. Wonderful. Alfredo Martinez.
I'm here.
Wonderful. Ken Samalo.
He is not able to make it this evening, but I am here in his place.
Wonderful. Oh my God. Thank you, Maureen. Okay, making note of that. Do we have, oh, Yoselin from Great Alternatives.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Yoselin. Thank you. Okay, there's also myself, Crystal Otworth from Leadership Council. Do we have Jose Cruz?
Here.
Thank you, Jose. Jose, would you mind renaming yourself on Zoom as Jose Cruz?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, actually, for all of the folks who are committee representatives on Zoom, can you please rename yourself and make a note of that? Okay, Malu Huerta.
present.
Thank you, Malu. Bernardo Lino.
Here.
Thank you, Bernardo. Jose Manso. You're a little faint, Jose, but I did hear you. Olivia Rodriguez Mendez.
Here.
Thank you, Olivia. Raul Zendejas.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, before we move on, just reiterate again, if you are on Zoom and you're a community representative, please rename yourself with your with your name and that like identifier, please. Thank you. And with that,
I would also like to request, if possible, for those that are TCC members, if they could turn on their camera for Zoom, that would be great. So we'll move on to the next item, number 3, committee background and purpose. So we'll start with the purpose of this committee to give everybody the chance who is not aware of the purpose of the committee and the issues that we'll be discussing. So I'll pass it to Crystal to go over the purpose.
thank you, Mother, because thank you for doing that. Okay. All right, so this committee is called the Mecca North Shore Climate Resiliency Project Stakeholder Committee. It is made possible by the California's Transformative Climate Communities, which is TCC for short. The TCC grant program funds community-led development and infrastructure projects that deliver significant environmental, health, and economic benefits in California's most disadvantaged communities. This grant is overseen and distributed by the California Strategic Growth Council and the California Department of Conservation. What do these projects look like specifically in the Eastern Coachella Valley? Right now, we are this is just a broad overview. The first project is the planning and design for a community resilience center in North Shore, which would be potentially located directly adjacent to the North Shore Community Park. We also have Grid Alternatives on the team, and they are doing site assessments and solar readiness upgrades on 50 sites across Mecca and North Shore, as well as offering paid internships throughout the grant term. We are also exploring bike lanes that would run from Hammond Road in Mecca to Seaview Drive in North Shore. And then we are also exploring potential bridge improvements on the Avenue 70 and Cleveland Street Bridge, also in North Shore, and there's 2 options here. Again, this is just a brief overview of the projects, but we'll go into more details as the meeting progresses. I did want to clarify, we often get comments and questions that are general across Mecca and North Shore. This meeting space is specific to these 4 projects that I mentioned. And so if you do have questions or concerns outside of these projects, I would encourage you to attend the Mecca North Shore Community Council meetings, which is separate from this space. These meetings alternate between Mecca and North Shore. They're run by the county, and this is their meeting schedule. I'll also move it to the Spanish screen. Yes, they're already scheduled for the year. If you're interested, you can attend one of these meetings, or you can also visit the link down below for more information. If you go to that link, you will be directed to a page that is in English. However, there is an opportunity, if you toggle over to the right, to change it to Spanish. And that is all.
And there was a phone number as well for those who wants to call in for Victoria.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item, approval of last month's meetings. So anybody? Does anybody wants to second that? Thank you.
Wonderful. Then those will be posted on the project website for anybody interested. Question?
Yeah, I just wanted, did I assume that A, B, C, and D are the 4 topics that you were just talking about that you're going to focus on? Okay, that's all for clarification.
Next, I'll open the comments to the public or anybody who has any questions regarding the projects we're going to discuss. In a moment, there will be more detail about these projects that we briefly mentioned, but I want to just make sure everybody has the opportunity to make comments, questions before we start. Any questions? No, okay. We'll move on. We'll start with the updates on the projects. The first project we'll discuss will be the improvements for Avenue 70 and the bike line. So I'm gonna pass it to Riverside County, Alfredo Martinez.
Right, let me share my screen. Okay. All right, does my presentation show up on the screen? Can everyone see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So just gonna kind of go through the updates as quickly as I can. So I'm here to talk about the 70th Avenue bridge widening and the Hammond/70th Avenue bike lane projects. The purpose of the projects are to provide a bike lane to connect the communities of Mecca to the community of North Shore. The project will begin at the intersection of 2nd and Hammond Street in Mecca and will complete at the intersection of Seaview and 70th in North Shore, just past the North Shore Community Park. As part of the project, there's an existing bridge right by Cleveland Street that will also need to be widened to accommodate the bike lanes. So we're treating it as two separate projects, but they're really one and the same. Here's a map for the entire limits. There's a little cross section here at the bottom, kind of showing what the footprint's going to look like. Essentially, we're widening about 9 feet on either side to create a buffer zone and a bike lane. I believe the buffer zone is going to be 4 foot and the bike lane is going to be 5 foot. Oops, too far. The current status of the project is that, well, there's 2 tasks we need to finish as part of the TCC grant. One of them is the environmental document for both projects. The other is 35% plans. For the environmental document, we have completed all of our technical studies. We are currently we've prepared our draft environmental document. We've submitted it to the state, and it's currently in the circulation process. What this means is that the document can be found on our county website, at your local library. I believe we posted it in the Mecca library for the public to view and comment on. We're also having a public meeting tomorrow at the North Shore Elementary multipurpose room. That's tomorrow afternoon. I believe 5 to 7 is the meeting time. It's an open house meeting, so our design team and our environmental team will be there to answer any questions you have regarding the environmental document. Once the circulation is completed, we will then respond to all the comments received and prepare the final environmental document, and that'll complete that task. In terms of the 70th Avenue Bridge, we have gotten our second submittal of the type selection report. The report now includes a letter of support provided by this group in favor of the bridge widening option instead of the 2 separate pedestrian bridges. The review is expected to be completed by the end of this week, so March 20th. And we're continuing to work on 35% plans. In terms of the bike lane, very similar status. We're still working on completing the 35% plans. Here's kind of a cross section that I mentioned earlier of what the bike lanes are going to look like. 2 12-foot lanes, which is what's there now, and then 4-foot buffers, and then the 5-foot bike lane. That's pretty much it for the County of Riverside Transportation Department projects. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Alfredo.
I have a question. Have there been any flyers sent out to, Mecca and North communities for the meeting tomorrow, or any information that, flyers that we can share?
So there were meeting flyers that are sent out. Typically, it's sent out to the residents that are going to be directly impacted by the project. So we've sent them out to a 500-foot radius of the project limits.
Just to add, Olivia, I know we had talked in the previous meeting about creating a flyer. Leadership Council did touch base with Alfredo, like, in between now and the last meeting. And Alfredo raised the concern that if we over promoted it and got a lot of comments, they have to respond to every single comment they get, which would delay the
Process.
environmental review process.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's,
It's only within the radius.
within the radius, but that's kind of the reason Leadership Council also decided not to uplift it as much as we would the meeting, just adding that additional context.
Thank you.
I do have another question. Will that be the only public meeting that will be presented tomorrow? Or there are additional meetings that will be presented more towards Mecca?
That's the only one.
Any other questions for Alfredo?
I guess I have more of a comment than a question, Alfredo, or it could be a question. So I spoke to Victoria Perez from the supervisor's office, and she seemed to have interest in learning more about this project as well. And perhaps having a presentation of some sort at the Mecca North Shore Council meetings. I just kind of wanted to flag that for you. I did let her know that you were the one leading that, and that there would be a meeting tomorrow. I do know there's a special Mecca North Shore Council meeting that overlaps, so I don't believe they'll be able to make it, but I just wanted to flag that for you in case that's something that comes across your desk as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, if the supervisor wants to discuss this project at the MAC meeting, we can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments for Alfredo? Thank you, Alfredo.
All right, thank you.
We'll move on to the next item for updates with the Community Resilience Center. So I'm gonna pass it to Desert Recreational District.
Hi, Maureen Gessel. I'm the Capital Projects Manager for Desert Recreation District. We have been working on looking through the design details with SVA Architects. Hopefully next month we will have another visual presentation for you. We're about 25% of the way through the full construction drawings. Right now we have our IT team kind of going through everything with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that we'll have all of the technology that we need in the building to serve our purposes. I believe we reported at the last meeting that we did listen to the community's request, and we have decided to go with a full community kitchen with the intent of allowing the County of Riverside to utilize that space for some workforce development activities. And we also are creating the full environmental resilience center. So we will have the 90-hour generator out there and over 20 restrooms available. So looking forward to being able to provide you guys some more details. We are still on target to finish this thing mid-June. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions from committee members or public? No. I did have one quick question, Maureen. This all sounds really exciting. Thank you for those updates. I know 2 meetings ago, I believe now, we did have a community member raise the question about a potential maternity or nursing room. I believe it's a comment that they've made in the past, and was wondering if that made it into the final design, and if it didn't, I know they also asked just for a quick update as to why or why not that wasn't possible.
It did. So in right off the lobby of the front building, there are some designated office spaces and some restrooms and a small break area for the employees. So I believe at this point it's kind of designed as a lactation room for employees, but I will inquire as to the status of it being open to the public as well. I do
Wonderful.
believe that we have some provisions for family restrooms. Some of the larger spaces where, multiple people can attend to things at once, that would be for the public. But let me check on the lactation/maternity space for public use.
Awesome. Thank you so
I
much.
definitely know we have one in there for employees, though.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I'm not seeing any on Zoom.
Okay, well, thank you, appreciate it. So we'll move on to the next presentation. So about solar development and energy. So I'll pass it to Grit. It's Justin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Apologies for not being able to be there in person today. We had some changes in our staffing. We appreciate you all for having us virtually. I'll go ahead and screen share and get started here. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Jocelyn Ecker, Director of Outreach for Grid Alternative. On the call, we also have Nadia Sanchez, Director, Outreach Operations Manager, it's a bit outdated, and Alex Turek, our Director of Strategic Development. These are the folks who have been involved or will be involved in this project, and as we develop and go after funding to actually fund our work in the future as well. A little bit about Grid Alternatives. I won't take too long on this slide since we have quite a bit of tables and numbers to go over today. But again, Grid Alternatives is the nation's largest national nonprofit organization. And essentially, we bring renewable energy to the communities who need it most through community-powered solutions. So many times we've been a part of a lot of the Transformative Climate Communities grant here in California, and we're always looking to connect those to the communities that need it most, like Mecca North Shore as well. So a little bit about our work plan deliverables and where we currently stand. So our first task is to conduct site visits and collect single-family residence solar feasibility analysis for up to 50 homes. And this would also include doing the roof rehabilitation and electrical upgrades to be completed for the qualified applicants in these homes. As of today, the results and outcome, we had 64 total initial applications. 47 of those are active, and the site visits have been completed. We also have 8 projects where we did lose contact, unfortunately. 4 are no longer interested, and then we also have 2 that were unqualified for one reason or another. We have 5 on the wait list. Because we've had a few projects drop off, we'll be reaching out to the first 2 in the next few weeks. And apologies, my daughter found me this afternoon.
That elevator music going.
Sorry about that. I have a little one this time at home. Like I mentioned, we have 5 total on the wait list. We'll be reaching out to those first few. And like we had mentioned previously, those subcontractors have been identified, those bids had been accepted, and a lot of their rehabilitation is already on its way. Okay, so now we have a little bit more about the numbers and the data with the majority of the site visits completed. So bear with me as I display quite a bit of data and tables. So the results and outcome, this is a total showing for 42 that we have all the data for site visits, how many projects needed re-roof only. So 17 out of the 42, or about 40% of the projects where we completed site visits needed just re-roof. Another 7 or 17% needed both re-roof and electrical upgrades. Another 4 or 10% needed only electrical upgrades. And the number of projects that did not require any solar readiness, meaning that they had a roof in good enough condition and electrical upgrade, their electric panel was good to go, was about 14 or 33%. For a total of 42 projects, or 100% of the data set that we had. So this is what we've learned so far from these 42 site visits about the housing stock for this community. This data will be especially helpful as we go out and, apply for grants and look for funding to make these solar projects a possibility. So here it is in a visual format for those of us who are visual folks. I think one of the more surprising things for the grid team was just seeing that the electrical upgrades was not really as that demand wasn't as big as anticipated, but the re-roof definitely was, almost half of the projects needed some sort of re-roof. Another thing, like we had shared, is that out in Mecca and North Shore, the electric usage is so high that we were having to rehab more of the roof compared to other parts of the Inland Empire that Grid Alternatives works in. So, in other areas, we may just have to do one side of the roof and we can fit all the panels there. But because the usage is so high, the demand is so high out there because of the extreme heat, there was a bigger area of the roof that needed to be re-roofed, which increased the re-roofing cost as well. And like we shared last time, I believe we're at about a 60-40 split, or 60% of the applications or these projects are coming from North Shore, and the other 40% are coming from Mecca. We'll be able to provide a total update at the next month's meeting as well. One more table, because, we were able to really dig into the data and actually look at the estimated cost of this rehabilitation work for those 42 projects. So for, I believe this is for the re-roofing. For re-roofing cost, less than $5,000, 10 of the re-roofs that needed to be complete were averaging about $5,000 per re-roof for the area where the solar would be installed based on the usage for that household. And then for projects requiring more than $5,000, more of those projects, 14, and the average for that re-roof was around $11,750. So the total estimated cost based on our current pipeline was at around $214,000 and $214,500. And we had budgeted for $250,000 for re-roofing. So it was right about that, on budget, and didn't require us to ask for more funding. And like we had mentioned before, the request was more to use this to not have a cap on the re-roof dollars because of the data that we had collected. And then this is the same data for the electrical upgrade. Oh, sorry. This is the data for the electrical upgrades. So as you can see here, for the main service panel upgrades, there was only 11 out of the 42 that required this. We do have an on-staff electrician at Grid Alternatives, which allows us to keep our costs very low. We don't have to look for a subcontractor for this, as we are a solar contractor. And the average cost per upgrade is around $3,000. So a lot less than we had budgeted for. We had originally budgeted for about $150,000. Now, with that said, at the previous meeting, we had shared that Anjanette, myself, our executive director, Jaime, had been on a call with SGC. And we were sharing, all of this data that we had collected, the barriers
I'm
moving
asking
forward.
them to activate me.
I'm sorry, should I pause?
Yeah, give me 1 second, Yasin. What happened, Jesus?
I'm sorry, I got kicked out. I just need the settings to be the interpreter tool to be set back up for me, please. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. Attempting to do that right now. Spanish, Brittany Spanish update. All right, you should be good to go.
Is you good?
Jesus, could you give me a thumbs up or that is if it worked? Got it.
Sure.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I believe you're able to proceed, Yaslin.
Okay, perfect. At our previous meeting, I think where I left off was I had shared that Jeanette, myself, our executive director, Jaime Alonso, had attended a meeting with SGC and their team regarding our request to not increase our budget, but just use it differently. We were operating with a cap of $5,000 for the re-roofing, and as we saw that the data showed us, the majority of projects required more than $5,000 to re-roof the area because of the extreme energy use out in the extreme heat. So we did send that proposal with all that data, presented that, and I want to share the great news that it was approved as an amendment. And I want to just get a like a verbal nod from Anjanette that I'm saying the correct thing, because I think we had received quite a few pauses in between that approval.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So amendment number 1, again, was that even though the grant had set aside $250,000 for roofing and $150,000 for electrical, based off of what we had seen from the actual site visits, it capped our ability to use the full $400,000 for solar readiness to match the actual community needs. So again, what we requested was to fully utilize the funds already allocated. We wouldn't be using or tapping into any contingency budgets to complete our deliverables for that first task. And yeah, at the end, serve the purpose that we set out to at the beginning of this grant, which was to prepare up to 50 homes for solar, which is what we're now able to move forward with. Yes, yes, big yay. And then second, there was an amendment for the contingency as well. So the revision to allocate the $10,000 contingency for our microgrid feasibility work. And also allocate about $25,000 to expand our paid trainee internship program. This can mean adding a 4th internship and or extending the current and the 2 final interns, which we have gotten some feedback from our previous interns that they feel like that opportunity would be better if it was a bit longer, so that they can stay with us longer and learn more throughout that internship. Right now, it's currently at 10 weeks. And then additionally, because of all this information that we learned and the data that we have, we'd like to propose also, organizing a community info session about not just these findings, but also other resources that they can take part of. If it's not for solar, there's a lot of different rebates and incentives for electric vehicle charging, electric vehicle rebates, electric scooters, and grid, because of our space in this work, are connected and are actually outreach partners for a lot of those programs, and would be happy to share that, as well as energy efficiency and decarbonization efforts that may be available to them. So yeah, I think, after that, there was still about $32,000 that remained unallocated, and Grid recommended that amount be reallocated to another partner or task within the entire grant budget, provided that we were able to move forward with the previous request, which was approved. That was a lot. So I will just end with the microgrid feasibility study. This has been a little bit on the back burner with all of the information we have on the single family side. But my colleague, Alex Turek, who will be joining these calls, and will be working with Jaime, our executive director, and the engineering folks at DRD to get some of this on the ground moving and progressing over the next few months as well. And then finally, we are currently working with our second intern, Raimundo. He wasn't able to make it today in person, but he will be there next month. And we will begin recruitment for our third and final internship opportunity. And again, with the recent amendments, we have the opportunity to extend those internships or recruit for a fourth to support that work and a little bit of the extension that we will be working through into the fall. Nadia, my colleague, did drop the link. If you're interested, there's a link for a Google form that you can fill out, share, through text. There's a QR code here, but the link is in the chat as well. All right, and that's all for me today. Thank you, and thank you for your patience with the little one in the background.
Thank you, Jocelyn. That was really good. It was very educational. Thank you for all those numbers. It makes sense and to get educated as being part of the community. Does anybody have any questions for Jocelyn?
I do have, if she can answer. I have two questions, actually. The first one has to do with the types of roofs. Does the program allow for installation, or let's just say somehow applying these panels to wood shingle, slate, or sheet metal roofs? And or are they excluded from the program? And my second question will be is, barring, let's just say, the owners wish to, for to participate in the program, in that regard to do anything on the roof, can these panels be installed if you have a sizable yard, let's just say, in the backyard away from the building? And I'm telling you why I'm asking that question is because there are several people taking advantage of these remotely located thing for their gardening purposes. And I thought for our area and the interest in backyard gardening, myself included, that particular installation would work for me. I wouldn't want anyone to mess on my roof, and that's why I'm asking. Is there some way that I could be eligible for having, let's just say, an installation like that, not necessarily on a roof? Would I qualify?
Yeah, let me answer your first two questions. So unfortunately, metal roofs and wood shingle or wood shake roofs are incompatible with solar insulation, just because there is certain bracking that has to go into essentially like the rafters of the home. And it, for the most part, that wouldn't be compatible with rooftop solar. The second question, that is one of the things that we did know in our findings as well, is that there was interest, and also there was, some homes like on, for example, mobile homes that are not on a permanent foundation. But if the property owner owned enough land around there, it could be a possibility, ground mount systems. The only thing is that we have to abide by coding, with the county. Some counties require fencing around the system, and some counties require certain amount of clearance from the solar system itself. And then also, because it's going to be separate from the electrical panel from the home, that would require trenching, which would increase cost as well. As long as, it's something that is within the grant budget or the grant funding, it could be a possibility, but all those things go into play. And, it's not certain until a site visit is completed, since every home is very unique.
I have a follow-up question regarding that.
Is that information available to us?
This one?
Yeah, those contacts, let's just say. Or is that two people here?
No, these are contacts. These are grid alternative contacts.
I'd like to follow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We post them. we post the meeting recordings online, so even the slides and stuff you have access to. But I can make a note to send these contacts to you.
Great.
So going back to my question, Jocelyn, so if they decide to do the grant mount system, who is responsible to do the county permits? Is that the owner or you guys work directly with the county?
So as a contractor, Grid pulls all the permits required for the project. But again, the site visit would determine if that was a possibility. If it's cost prohibitive, we do give a heads up to applicants that 90% of the time it's going to go on the roof if it's a possibility. It's very rare that we're able to financially support, no cost solar system through the grant funding with trenching and all the extra requirements, subcontractors that are needed. So that's usually the case.
Right, thank you. Any other questions?
I do. I have one question. Well, probably a couple, Yoselin. Okay, so in relation to the info session, I think that's a great idea. I know that we've had a lot of community members interested and wanting to learn more about solar panels, wanting to learn more about the resources for like the roof improvements and all that. As much as Leadership Council can support, would love to work with you. Question is, did you have a date in mind? Is this something that would happen like during the monthly meeting in place of the typical updates, or would it be a separate meeting? Is there like a vision yet?
Definitely no dates in mind yet, but we're thinking probably sometime in May or June, just as we see a lot of the energy bills start to creep up and folks looking for those resources. We also would really like our interns to be play a big part of this, get some presentation and event planning under their belts as well. But yeah, we would appreciate, support from all the partners with attendance. I will say we don't want to take away from the 1 hour that all of our partners have here. And this would be an in-person type of event. So, and also, when folks are available, most likely like on a weekend or sometime in the evening as well after work.
Understood. That sounds great. I would also uplift, maybe if we could invite IID, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting all the folks, if anybody has any connections to IIDs, I know we have a few partners over there we can reach out to on that, but really just helping folks reduce their energy burden and their cost, and also transition to clean energy as well.
Last point,
Sure, we have one more question.
battery storage. Is this part of the program, or can it be installed as part, under this program?
I'll let Yoselin answer.
Or did she cover that already?
No, she hasn't yet. That's all the question.
Sure. Yeah, so Grid does install batteries when we have the funding for it. I will say as a caveat, batteries right now are probably more expensive than all of the solar equipment that we install combined. It is a big need, and one of the things we've done is Crystal actually added it to the survey, and I think expressing your need for that is something important for the community members. But Grid is able to install batteries. They just do cost a lot, so they can increase the cost of any grant ask by substantial amount.
So it's not part of this round of the TCC.
That's what I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, but it is a potential for future funding.
And during our site visits, we did scope out if there was space for batteries as well. So we do have that data.
We have one more question in the room.
Yo apliqué para este programa, para lo del despecho de mi trailer. La trailer ya está sentada en una fundación permanente. Vino un supervisor a revisar la trailer y sí me dijo que estaba bastante deteriorado el chingo, todo lo de arriba, que sí necesitaba un reemplazo.
So I have a trailer and it is engine.
Hicieron una fundación permanente.
So it's on permanent foundation. And they did come to look at it and I wanted to see the too much.
De todo lo de arriba que viene siendo el chino, la madera que ya estaba muy
Everything that's on the top, the shingles, the wood, that is very destroyed.
Cuando llueve sí se moja ahí adentro. Entonces vino un supervisor y hizo toda la revisión y me dijo que sí necesitaba un reemplazo del techo. Me revisó la caja del tablero del poste donde baja la luz y también me dijo que estaba muy mal, en malas condiciones y que necesitaban un reemplazo. Dijo, pero yo voy a pasar mi información con la organización a ver si califica para esto. Entonces me hablaron. Okay.
So yeah, so they came to check my roof and it was in bad shape and someone came to look at it and they said that it could be replaced, but also the electric box is also needing to be replaced. So he said he was going to get me the information and talk to the organization.
Entonces la organización me habló, me dijo que no había presupuesto para reemplazarme el techo, que pues se gastaba mucho presupuesto.
The organization called me to tell me that there was no budget for this, that it's a lot of money on this.
Que nada más calificaba para que me cambiaran el panel del poste y nada más eso me van a hacer.
El poste es
donde tienen la luz, sí, donde bajan la luz.
So the organization told me that there wasn't enough money for this, that all they could do would be to exchange the electric box, the panel and the electric box.
Que no tienen fondos para hacerme lo del techo.
That they do not have the money to do the roof.
Yes, Jocelyn, would you mind?
Yeah, sí, ¿puedo responder en español si me oye?
Sí.
Sí, ok, perfecto. So, sí, como hablamos, muchos de los proyectos que inicialmente, 14 proyectos que inicialmente aplicaron, ya hace un año, estaban en pausa porque no teníamos la aprobación de el Estado para gastar más de los $5,000 que nos dieron para hacer los arreglos del techo. Apenas este mes pasado es cuando se hizo la aprobación que sí podemos usar más de $5,000 para arreglar los techos, y es por eso que ahora vamos a poder hablar con los aplicantes, esos 14 que tenían gastos de techo más alto de $5,000, y vamos a poder seguir con el retecho de su proyecto.
Entonces ya hay presupuesto.
Yeah.
Sí, nos dieron la aprobación.
When should they expect a call or some sort of follow-up?
I would say by the end of next week. I know this last week we really focused on getting the data together for the amendment to be approved, and it was just we just got that go ahead. So we should be reaching out to residents to let them know, and then a little bit longer just to get the contractor out there to all of these 14 sites. So denos como una semanita o dos para poder contactar a todos con los datos que van a seguir y también para empezar el proceso con el contractor del techo que va a seguir con ese proyecto.
Ya me dieron fecha para el cambio del panel de la luz, del poste, sí ya me dieron la fecha, es el 1 de abril, pero ahora con el techo, entonces voy a volver a preguntar o tendría que volver a aplicar.
No tendrá que volver a aplicar. Ya tenemos su solicitud inicial y es válida por un año.
Okay.
I have a question.
Gracias.
We have 2 questions. Oh, okay. Oh, actually, sorry, before we move on, I just wanted to give a brief recap in English for those who that interpretation. So the question was asked or brought up, somebody has experienced that their re-roofing needs exceeded the original budget. And so they were told that those upgrades were not possible. Now with these new amendments and flexible funding that Jocelyn has talked about throughout this presentation, that is no longer the case. So you should be hearing within the next week or so, if your project can move on with the potential re-roofing upgrades. Yeah. And then we have another question, two more questions.
Una pregunta para la señorita, si me permite. Así es que su hogar está en un lote, un solar propio o es en parque.
No, es que no tengo solar.
Oh,
Me hicieron una inspección para renovar el techo de la traía.
pero yo digo, ¿está en parque usted? ¿En un parque?
No, estoy en un lote.
Pero el lote es suyo.
Sí,
pues.
sí.
Ah, that's what I wanted to, okay.
Sí, Abuela está en una fundación permanente.
Sí, pero es el solar es tuyo.
Sí,
propio. Okay,
sí.
that's what because I guess what I asked the young lady was whether or not her mobile unit was on a privately owned lot or whether it's a mobile home, because I'm listening to the discussion and I thought, well, is this program available for, let's just say, mobile homes or residents of mobile home parks? Yes, no, maybe.
So unfortunately, for us to be able to install solar and in this case complete the rehab, you do have to be on a permanent foundation and own the land, because that would allow, it can't be movable, the solar system itself. So those are two requirements for that.
Thanks for that clarification. I just wanted to know.
Sure. Common question. I
We
did want
have
to
one-
add. Oh, go ahead.
Just a follow-up, just in case she gets a call within the next 2 weeks, and I don't want to prolong until our next meeting, that she could come and ask questions. Is there a direct number she could call? Or is that the one in the slides? What's the best phone number? Is that a good number to call?
Yes, this will be the number to call and this email. And again, I think before we didn't have any updates, to call. This is really, something that we almost had to have the data, to be able to get this approval. It did have to happen this way, but we will be reaching out to homeowners. I would say by the end of next week, if they don't get a call back, they can contact us directly at this number on this slide.
Awesome, thanks, Jocelyn.
Any other questions?
One final closing statement I wanted to say is that, as we're contacting homeowners, we are clarifying with them that the rehab is being completed so that we will come and install solar once the grant is funded. I say that because we've had a few homeowners drop off because they were not interested in getting solar. They were just interested in the rehab. So we are reminding the applicants, that in order to get the rehabilitation, they're signing an amendment, agreeing that they will be installed with solar in the future should grant funding become available. So we'll reiterate that to all the applicants as well.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Is there any other questions, comments, concerns?
Una pregunta. Pero van a arreglar la avenida 70 o nada más van a hacer las ciclovías para las bicicletas. Porque la avenida 70 está en muy malas condiciones.
Le voy a dar esta pregunta a Alfredo, pero lo que yo sé es que por ahorita los planes son para los carriles de bicicleta y también el puente.
Pero sin alumbrado público. O sea, no va a haber alumbrado, ¿verdad?
Ahorita no están esos planes para eso, pero Alfredo, if you'd like to add more to that, happy to pass it on to you.
You want to translate that?
The question was about street lights, right?
Yes, asking if there would be other improvements along Avenue 70 or if it was just for the bike lanes, and then specifically asked if there was going to be public lighting.
I think you answered it. Right now, the project is really only scoped for the pavement widening and any conflicts that are part of that. There's a couple areas where we're going to have to rebuild and realign the road. It's at some of the really hard curves. Don't remember the intersections right now, but it's like 68th, I think, where it does like an S curve. So we're going to try to flatten those out. But we're only really scoped for roadway and pavement work. There aren't, we didn't estimate anything for streetlights.
They're translating, so there might be follow-up questions.
Porque va a haber bicicletas, pero no va a haber iluminación. O sea, yo no le doy el sentido a que hagan situaciones para bicicletas cuando la avenida está en malas condiciones. Está en malas condiciones. Está muy bien el puente y lo que van a hacer por ampliarlo, pero está mal en condiciones la avenida 70. En realidad la gente aquí no va en bicicletas a Mecca, ni viene ni va. Yo para mí eso es una cosa innecesaria. Sería mejor que arreglaran la avenida, porque sí está muy mal, en muy malas condiciones. Y siempre en cada junta eso es lo que no veo ahora mucha gente, ¿verdad? Pero yo también he faltado en ocasiones a las juntas, pero siempre se ha pedido eso, la iluminación y que arreglen la avenida 70. La iluminación en las calles aquí en la comunidad también es bien importante. Pero pues ya las propuestas ya están y eso es lo que se va a hacer, ¿verdad?
El propósito de este comité en sí es climático.
Eso sí está bien.
Para calificar tenemos que hacer cosas como reducir emisiones de carbono. Entonces es una de las razones que se va a hacer la línea de bicicleta. Ya los otros problemas que hay en la carretera.
Pero con este peligro que hay en la avenida, ¿usted cree que la gente va a ir en bicicleta? Bueno, al menos yo hablo por mí, yo no iría en la bicicleta, ¿verdad? Es un peligro. Que la gente toma, va manejando, va distraída y sin una iluminación. O sea, no hay seguridad.
Pero ese problema ya está en sí, ¿verdad? Sin las líneas de bicicleta, ¿no? Y creo que, personalmente, creo que ahí es donde entra el comité con el condado y las juntas que son de la comunidad. Para decirle a nuestro representante, el señor Pérez, qué es lo que se necesita.
Pues siempre, en cada junta, siempre lo que se pide es eso. La avenida, el arreglo de la avenida 70, la iluminación, el alumbrado, por los niños también de las escuelas que ya salen tarde y es un peligro cruzar los montes que están, los baldíos que están solos. Es un peligro porque no hay iluminación. El drenaje, también, eso nos hace bastante falta. Está pagando uno de las fosas, cada 2 años tienes que pagar para que te la vengan a limpiar. Eso es lo más importante para la comunidad. El alumbrado, el drenaje y la avenida 70. Yo de las bicicletas realmente sí, es innecesario eso. Pero pues ya los planes ya están, las decisiones ya están tomadas. Ojalá que en un futuro se haga eso que la comunidad realmente ocupa.
También hay oportunidad para compartir sus prioridades en llenando una encuesta que ahorita está abierta y sí voy a hablar de eso en el parte de alcance que está aquí en la agenda. Pero sí, puede también llenar esa encuesta es una oportunidad para que usted comparte cuáles son sus prioridades en relación con estos proyectos. Y si usted siente que ahorita deberíamos priorizar, el centro o el puente o algo así.
El puente está perfecto, está muy angosto. Es un peligro cuando vas pasando por ahí.
Ya.
Está reducido.
Entonces en la encuesta, nomás si usted puede poner sus selecciones. Ajá.
Prioridad.
Las prioridades.
¿Cuál es lo que usted piensa que personalmente piensa usted?
Sí.
Pero
creo que alguien disculpa, creo que alguien en Zoom tenía la mano alzada hace un momento, pero ya la bajaron porque creo que la tenían alzada por un buen ratito. No sé si quería hablar esa persona. Creo que se llamaba JGR.
Sí, hola, buenas tardes. Yo fui la que levanté la mano, entré un poquito tarde, pero estoy mirando que este chat es para opinar sobre los proyectos que van a hacer en North Shore.
Sí, so, en este comité estamos hablando sobre los proyectos climáticos que son el centro comunitario en North Shore, mejoras al puente de la Avenida 70 y calle Cleveland, mejoras a la Avenida 70 de Mecca y North Shore y también mejoras eléctricas y paneles solares.
You wanna move to English? Maybe
Oh.
she needs the translating. That way we could do English and Spanish.
Wait. The question was asked in Spanish or
Ok,
English? Spanish.
tenía yo una
I just wanna
pregunta
make sure I
sobre las paradas de los niños del autobús. I had a question about kids bus stop. I know it's going to be summer. Ya pronto llega el verano, and that's the time that the kids mostly need, shading for bus stops. Esos son los tiempos donde los niños, cuando están esperando el autobús, están ocupando mucha sombra por lo mismo del clima bien caliente. Do you guys know anything about that? ¿Saben de esto?
In this committee, unfortunately, we keep it within the 4 projects, but I do know that there is a Sunline survey that is out. But there might be actually, Steph, do you know if there's a better forum for that question, comment?
Yeah, let me, I'll share in the chat in a moment the email and the link to the survey that Sunline currently has. There's going to be a lot of opportunity to engage in Sunline in the coming months as they are reorganizing their service line map and the services that they're going to be offering to certain communities. And from my understanding, there wasn't a lot of engagement from the unincorporated communities like Mecca, North Shore, and Thermal in that survey. So that is affecting the service maps and the services that they will be offering the unincorporated communities. So it is important to get the word out and engagement on that. But that is a county and Sunline issue. I'll drop the information in the chat.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions regarding the 4 projects within PCC meeting? Okay, so we'll move on to the next item. We'll go back to community outreach and engagement. So I'll pass it to Crystal to get any updates.
Thank you very much. I'll try to go quick. Okay, so my name is Crystal Otworth. I'm here with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability, and we lead the outreach and engagement work for this committee. Okay. So this was the flyer for our March meeting. If you are signed up for meeting notifications, you would have received this flyer, whether that be through text message, email, or a phone call. We also post these flyers at frequently visited locations throughout the community, such as the markets. We've also posted them at the North Shore Community Park. And oftentimes we do go to the food distributions and pass out the flyers there as well. We also post them on our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram as examples. Okay. The other update that we have is that we received feedback in a prior meeting if we could please do like a highlight reel just with the quick recap of the previous month's meeting. And so we actually started that this month. We had our fabulous committee member, Olivia, who volunteered to participate. And so you would have seen her online. This reel is bilingual, so it's in English and in Spanish, available on Instagram. Stephanie, who's our comms, can correct me, but I believe it's TikTok and Facebook as well. And yeah, please feel free, if you see it, feel free to share it with anybody who you think would be interested. That reel also has information about when the next meeting will be. So it's also just a nice reminder to put on your calendar. Okay, I mentioned this briefly earlier, but we also have a prioritization survey out. So I believe I mentioned at the beginning, this grant term and these projects are currently in the design and planning phase. We are looking to apply for additional project funding for construction as we move along. But the project, like cost estimates are pretty big. It's pretty costly projects if we were to do all of them. And so we would really love to hear from community about which projects they would like to prioritize for funding as we move forward in the event if funding is limited, in the likely event of limited funding. And so that survey is open. I'll share a QR code just shortly. And just that the deadline to fill it out is Sunday, March 29th. So it's about 2 weeks. You should have seen or will see in the coming weeks this survey more on our social media. I think we've already posted it on social media, but we'll keep uplifting it. And then we'll also send text reminders. And so this is what that flyer looks like. You can use this QR code to get to the survey. And yeah, like I said, if you could complete it by March 29th, 2026, that would be fabulous. Okay. If you are not receiving meeting notices and would like to, I encourage you to use this QR code to sign up for these meeting notifications, as we send a lot of project updates and invites through our listserv that we have. Okay. I'll sort of shift gears here a second. This is our 2026 meeting schedule. So these monthly meetings are going to run the length of the grant term. So as soon as the grant ends, which is July of this year, then we will no longer have monthly meetings. I just wanted to be really clear and transparent with that. And so we have our meetings already scheduled until the end of July, as well as the times and the locations that these meetings are set. We also have them, as you're aware, available through Zoom if you're not able to join in person. But yes, if you know anybody who would be interested in learning about these projects, I encourage them to join before we start meeting in July. Okay. I believe that is it. Are there any questions?
Any questions? I encourage everybody to do the survey. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's pretty easy. Any other questions, comments? Well, thank you.
A quick comment, it was really fun working with Stephanie to create the reel, and yeah, thank you for your support, you'll make that, that was really fun.
Does this mean you're gonna do more?
Opportunity.
Natural.
Sí, pero
La fecha que van a empezar el proyecto, ¿en qué fecha?
de
los ciclovías de las bicicletas.
las bicicletas. Bueno, todos los proyectos ahorita están en el proceso de planes y diseños. Entonces, la fecha cuando empezamos a construir depende en los fondos. Entonces, ahorita estamos aplicando para más fondos, pero ya.
Y para más contexto, por eso hay esa encuesta para escuchar de los miembros de la comunidad, dependiendo en cuántos fondos hayan, cuáles proyectos de esa lista es la prioridad de la comunidad. Es para escuchar de los miembros de la comunidad cuáles quieren que sea prioridad dependiendo en los fondos que hayan disponibles. Y luego también creo que compartieron en el chat que el 5 de mayo va a ser la próxima junta con el condado de Mecca y North Shore, por si quieren ir, participar para compartir las preocupaciones sobre la falta y la necesidad de luces en North Shore, y también los servicios de transportación. Esa es la junta con el condado en donde pueden traer esas prioridades también.
I think I'll just close off by, there was a comment about the reel. If any other committee member is open and available to participate, we do welcome it as we plan to continue these highlight reels until the end of the committee.
Don't raise all your hand at the same time. Thank you,
I-
Crystal.
Could I go ahead and add that I want to suggest for all of us to commit as TCC members to participate in the reel? Like if we were to all do one, I feel like it'd be a good collaboration for all of us to show that and to give support for the outreach.
So you're next or what?
So we're next.
We're next. Okay.
Yeah, we as in the 6.
Órale.
What we can do is, and feel free to contact me if you would like to participate in the next recap reel for this meeting, and you would like to participate in it as like a duo. Each of you could take a different section from the script. Olivia can attest, they can be pretty lengthy scripts, but she did it. I don't know if you want to take the next reel and then the other one take the reel that follows, that's great too, but whatever you are most comfortable with. I can try and work around your schedules. But yes, always open. I just ask for advance notice so that I can, work around the schedule. Yeah, that's all I ask is let's coordinate ahead of time so that we can make sure we're all available.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll make sure to follow up with all of you so that we can get something on the calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a duo is cool, but I still feel like it'd be nice to get all of us. Just saying.
The group one.
So word to all the other members.
We'll follow up with an email. Thank you. So thank you, Crystal. Thank you for your comments, everybody else. We'll move on to the next item, grant management. So I'll pass that to County of Riverside and Jeanette.
So thank you. So as of March 16th, we have submitted our 6th draw. To date, we have expended 28% of our funds. We have contacted each partner to confirm that they will be able to expend their current allocation by the end of the grant term, which is July. And if not, what that surplus looks like, and see if we can reallocate those funds within other tasks and contact SGC to approve whatever we propose. So as you can see in the table, each task shows their remaining advance pay allocation. Currently, only task 1 and task 2 have some funds remaining in their advance pay. That just means we had 25% of the grant, so around 1 million that the county received on hand. So we were able to quickly disperse those reimbursements. So we only have around 56K for task 1 and 261K for task 2. And task 3 to 6, we have fully expended our advance pay allocation, so we're moved in directly to reimbursement. So we have to request a backup to SGC. They give us the check and then we will disperse accordingly. For just as a quick total remaining, combining the advance pay and the reimbursement allocation for task 1, we have around 64,000. 646,000. For task 2, we have 974,000. For task PM4, we have 1.1 million. For task 5, we have 67,000, and for task 6, we have 56,000. And yeah, we are tracking and communicating with all the partners, making sure we can expend everything within the time frame, and just monitoring that along with the deliverables that must be met with these funds.
Any questions, comments for Anjanette? No questions?
Not seeing any on Zoom.
Okay, thank you, Anjanette. We'll move on to the next item, the TCC round 6 grant application. Anjanette, no, that's that. Anjanette, sorry.
So in the last meeting, it was requested for us to provide kind of a timeline of what the TCC round 6 would look like. This timeline is straight out of SGC's website, and unfortunately, they do not provide concrete dates. But as of now, they're projecting around spring to summer this year to release the NOPA, requesting the notice that these funds are available and posting the guidelines for which we would have to submit an application for. The application period would run through summer, fall of this year. Then the applications would be due around fall of this year. So I'm guessing, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 months last period. So we're looking at maybe 2 months of an application period. So it's pretty quick. Then in winter or spring of 2027, they are looking to review the applications. And in the first half of 2027, they would want to issue awards for all the grants, which would be the planning grant, the implementation, and they have the project development grant as well. Any questions?
Not a question, more of a comment. So the prioritization survey will wrap up March 29th. I think my goal would be to consolidate that information and try to share it out with the partners as soon as possible. And then I think from there, it would be meeting with the committee aside from these monthly meetings, but internally to share that. Well, I will share that information with the public too. But also just so that we have that information to start talking through potential work plans and what the application, what projects would look like. Yeah, which are feasible, given the tight turnaround.
Yeah, for sure. So then we're looking for early to mid-April to get together and kind of pinpoint the reality of what we would be able to bring in a 50% leverage for the 4 or 5 projects we're proposing in this current committee. Yeah, I can start looking at dates. I can get some dates from everybody so we can have a whole. So we can have that in the books already because calendars are getting filled.
Yeah. I would also ask, not to speak for the other committee members, but I know a lot of them have the full-time jobs outside of the TCC space. So if we could look at either lunch times or even some meetings that might be after hours so that they could also participate.
Yeah, or if you're also willing, we can maybe have an internal one and then you and I can meet with the committee as well. And then, kind of be a liaison between the 6 committee members, resident committee members, and the partners.
That too.
Yeah, to work with everybody's schedule.
Okay.
Because I also don't want to take your guys' lunch away.
True, yes, sorry. Not me volunteering your guys. I'm sorry.
That's like not my lunch.
It happens all the time, right? I'm okay with that. Okay. Any other questions regarding the grant application and the timeline? Comments? No, okay.
None on.
We'll move to the next item. So the survey, is it the project? You just,
Yes, but unless there are any additional questions, I think I've covered it in my other comments.
for those in person, if they want to stay after, we could help them with the survey. If you guys want to. Throwing it out there. Okay, we'll move on.
I have
to-
a question.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry if I missed this, Crystal. Have we gone over outreach yet?
For the survey?
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you mean?
Yes.
I think I briefly mentioned that like we would put it on, we would send it out like through text message. We'll also send it out via email, and we will look at potential like food distribution dates, as well as I know there's a couple of tabling events that are happening with the Desert Recreation District that we're also exploring. And so once those dates are finalized, because they'll be coming up in the next 2 weeks, I know one of them is a Saturday and it's March
28th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. At the Mecca
Park.
So March 28th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Mecca Park is a potential tabling opportunity. If folks want to like put a hold, if you can participate. And yeah, but we'll definitely follow up to confirm via email with you all those potential outreach dates.
Just the newly renovated, newly built park or?
Yes. The sport park by the Boys and Girls Club.
The little triangle there. Okay, good. Thank you.
And the survey has also been posted at the commercial park and some of those local store responses.
But if anyone had a hard time hearing, the survey flyer has been posted at the North Shore Park, as well as where, Jasmine? Sorry, I didn't hear.
At the North Shore Park and some of the local shops.
And some of the local shops. And to repeat the date and time, the tabling opportunity Saturday, March 28th, 10 a.m. to noon at the new Mecca Park, the Mecca Sports Complex.
Yeah, we're getting more parks, so we have to make sure you identify.
There's a triangle park now. But yeah, with that, please feel free. Like I said, if you'd like to sign up for meeting notifications, that's honestly the best way to stay up to date with all of the updates. But otherwise, feel free to share the link, which we can re-put in the chat, to be able to share with those that may be interested.
Can you guys send me that QR code for the survey? And I'll log into that.
Jasmine will send it to you. Yay. Okay.
We'll move on to the next item, the Strategic Growth Council site visit. So I'll give back to you, Krista.
That is me. Okay, we mentioned at the last meeting, we were exploring, or we were going to send an invite to the Strategic Growth Council to do a site visit here in the Eastern Coachella Valley. The purpose of a site visit would be to have like the TCC program, folks come, learn more about the community, learn more about the projects that we're working on to really build excitement for these projects ahead of the next round of applications. It also helps that they learn more about rural communities, such as the Eastern Coachella Valley, to inform program guidelines moving forward. And so with that, we did offer the potential date in April and May, and we received confirmation for attendance May 18th.
May 18th.
Yes, which is the same date as our May TCC committee meeting date.
Okay.
I am working on an itinerary, and we're looking at a time block from noon to 8 p.m., which would include like a lunchtime. It would include site visits to the different projects that we're working on, as well as, and that includes the time also that we're in this TCC space. So they'll be invited to come and listen in and hear how and like see how these committees work. Let's see. I am planning on emailing the committee members. I have on my to-do list to do that tomorrow, actually. So keep an eye on your emails because I would love to plan to set a planning meeting up so that we can talk through the itinerary with everyone and really get ideas from all of you. For example, like we'd want to know who plans to join all day versus who's going to be for their, their specific sites and projects. And ideally we'd have recurring meetings set up. So I'm going to send a doodle poll with a couple of dates to get something on our calendars soon because May 18th is going to come faster than we would like, I think. And then just the other item I had on here is that in addition to inviting
I think we lost them for those of us online.
Yes.
So let's just
also I'm sorry.
we lost you, Crystal. All of us online lost you for a moment.
Uh-oh. When was the last thing you heard?
Probably the last 20 seconds only.
Did you hear the part about setting up a planning meeting? Well, I'll try to repeat everything.
Yeah, start from there.
Start from there. Okay. So yes, you should be receiving an email from me within the next day or so. I want to get something on our calendar so we can start planning for May 18th. In addition to inviting SGC staffers, we are also looking at inviting local representatives, which include supervisor, the CEO, which is the person who handles the county budget, CNRA, who is who oversees the bond money that where the TCC funds come from, and then some of our federal and state representatives as well, because each does play a role in advocating for additional grant funding, as well as helping us make those connections to essentially find additional local funding that we can use to match some of these grants, and just different ways that we can build off of the momentum that this group is doing to be able to move these projects along. And so, with that, I did want to ask, Leadership Council is happy to send out these invites to the local and state federal representatives, but if anybody else has like a relationship or a connection already that they would like to be the one to extend that invitation, I welcome that to anyone.
I wish I had those.
I'll confirm with Juan to see if we want to take inviting the supervisor.
Okay.
And I'll confirm with you tomorrow.
Wonderful.
And I'll see if we have any other contacts. I'll confirm with them.
Okie dokie. Thank you. So once we confirm that, and then I can take on the other folks. But yes, Jocelyn or anybody, not just Grid, but anybody else, if you have a connection that you're like, hey, yeah, I can send that invite out. I'll repeat. So Supervisor Perez, the CEO of Riverside County, CNRA. We're also looking at Congressman Ruiz, Padilla, Senator Gonzalez, and also Padilla on the state side. And that's my list. But
Hey, Crystal, I don't know if you remember Scott Sear from the Desert Recreation District. He is our dude to talk to. So if you don't have his contact info, I'm happy to send it to you. But as far as public connections, he's our public information officer. He is amazing with things like that.
Wonderful. I do have his contact info, and I can reach out to Scott.
I think that would set you in the right direction for sure.
Thanks, Maureen.
And Crystal, I'll let Jaime know.
I will do that.
I know he probably has a lot more connections, I think, with Congressman Ruiz in particular.
Awesome. Okay, so then I'll just I'll send another email just to follow up with everybody, and that way we can kind of get it straightened out who's going to reach out to who.
Would you have any specific questions or reason for having them here? That's just what I'd like to know, that, you know, a focus for their presence.
So yeah, we could break it up by the group. So the reason for having the supervisor and the Riverside County staff is because they could help with the like county level budget. So if there's any discretionary funding that we could maybe tap into, or even if they know of any like matching funds that we can do, right? So it's in part informational, right? So they could also come and see what's been going on, but also, yeah, to help with funding sources. And then CNRA, which is the California, oh my gosh, Natural Resources Agency.
Yeah.
I had to pause for a second there. They oversee the climate bond funding, which is what funds the TCC program. And so to inform that as well. And then for federal and state, the federal representatives can help in advocating for more federal funding for climate resiliency. And the state, essentially the same. They could be like champions of the TCC program, which is the primary grant for these projects.
So I gather the motive is mainly for support of the organization. I'm just trying to distinguish between an organization meeting and or versus, let's just say, an overall community interest meeting. So basically what you're saying is you're touching base with people who support the program, help in the assist in the funding or allocating the funding, seeking funds, all that. It's just mainly the relationship between leadership council and those individuals you're thinking or representatives you're thinking about. I just want to know, do I care to be here? Does it affect me? Am I,
Yeah.
where do I fit in as
So-
a community?
Yeah, I can take a step back. So the site visit is going to be an all-day thing. So we'll have like the let's say the afternoon where we're taking them to the different projects so that they can see the community, the projects, the vision, right? And then we'll also have conversations around maybe some of the barriers and the challenges that we've experienced through this process. But they'll also be invited here to the committee meetings, which are public and where I do highly encourage anybody of the public to come and participate the way you typically do. Because that's also where, some of these like program administrators, they can come and see how that interaction and how that like feedback helps and supports the overall projects.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I think it's important that, well, maybe it's just my perspective, my point of view alone. In my opinion, I think that because we have an historical relationship with the local tribe as well, the Torres Martinez, they are neighbors, they're long established, and the things that we do and we promote and we envision, I think does have an impact on their overall view of who we are as neighbors as well. And I think that we could learn as much from the presence of one of their leaders if we could listen and hear what messages come from them that we could maybe adopt into our vision, if you will, of who we are, where we're going, more so than what we've been, because sometimes it doesn't look like that to me, of course. I've only been here for 82 years, okay? And it seems to me like somehow we've lost our vision in terms of development.
Mm.
This is an attractive Coachella Valley. It brings people from all over the world. Just last year, people from France came over here. We walked them out here to the point, they wanted to know about our Salton Sea. They were reporters. They were I'm with the CB Historical Society as well. And so they contacted us, see if they could send somebody. So I came along with another individual and took them on the tour. But anyway, where I'm going is that one of the things that we're losing sight of is why we attract visitors. You know, and asphalt, glass and brick and mortar, it just kind of seems to take away from our own natural things that we have to offer, the things surrounding us, the mountains, even though it's a failing salton sea, it still attracts people's interest. Now we've got these thermal things going on. We've got the desert, the flora and fauna and all that, the natural stuff. And that, in a sense, to me, deserves some respect. You know what I'm saying? And looking at it again to another lens, maybe a locally derived or based lens. You see what I'm saying? So what can we preserve while we're doing this? You know, instead of just building more golf courses, racetracks, horse ranches, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. Dark sky, you know, people come down here still from the city just to look at the stars and see if they can touch them. I have neighbors that come all the way from the city or friends that come from different points in California just to see the sky at night. You know, and I thought, you know what, the more light, the more this and that, all that pollution is just. I'll stop there. You get my thing. You get my. So I think if we invite them with, let's just say a little prompt. Can you tell us, give us a little history? What are we missing? Where are we? What can we do to improve our vision as well? And become better stewards for that matter, as we continue to develop. It doesn't say development has to stop. I'm not suggesting that. But we approach it with a sense of stewardship as well.
So just to clarify, the recommendation, suggestion, request to invite the Torres Martinez tribal members into the TCC space as well. Because I can send those.
Anybody that's willing to come. If they don't want to come, that's fine. Just extend the invitation. That's all, they're our neighbors.
Yeah.
Went to school with all these, well, we're not kids anymore, but yeah, they went to school here back as well. I've learned a lot from the tribe. I really appreciate, they're part of my growth and development, so.
I can make sure to send an email ahead of the next TCC meeting to invite folks.
My son got a job working at with the Yurok tribe a few years back. And the first, and he didn't know how to approach it. He was trying to write a resume or something like that. Dad, what do I write? I says, get in the car, let's go. I took him down here to the reservation, introduced him to Joseph, and he stood up there and he, Joseph, this is what you talked to him. But Joseph, oh, this is what I want to do. And just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. He worked there 3 years and beyond his tenure as a volunteer, they offered him a job, which he even worked for longer. So it was very successful for him.
Thank you.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That kind of leadership guidance, if you will, that we can derive from our neighbors as well.
Yeah, happy to extend the invite. Yeah. I think so. With that, though, that does wrap up my the site visit sections. I'm just
Any other questions before we move on? So I just want to open it to any of the members or the public if they want to add any topic to the agenda or they want to discuss anything for future meetings. We're open to take those comments right now so we could address them and prepare ourselves for next time. Is there any topic we want to add? We're all good, okay.
I'll just reiterate to expect a summary of the prioritization survey results.
And any other comments from the public, questions, concerns? Nothing? Okay.
Nothing in the chat, although Jocelyn, thank you. I did see the comment about the grid tribal director has some Torres Martinez contacts.
Oh, okay. Well, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. I want to say thank you, everybody, for your comments, your input, and your support. And we'll see you next month.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.